the community you live in as a proud member of the Army National Guard. Talk to your local recruiter or visit nationalguard.com. Sponsored by the Alabama Army National Guard, aired by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
Wheelchairs for Warriors serves those who served us. We provide custom-fit wheelchairs for veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. When they are denied the services they deserve, we stand in the gap. To join the mission and support America's heroes, you can visit our website at wheelchairsforwarriors.org. We are a 501c3 organization and part of the combined federal campaign. Visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. Your home of the Crimson Tide Sports Network.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Dodgers opened up defense of their World Series championship with a 4-1 victory over the Cubs in Major League Baseball's season opener in Japan. Yoshi Yamamoto, a run, 3 hits, 4 strikeouts, and a walk in 5 innings. Shohei Ohtani, 2 hits, and he scored twice. Rookie Roki Sasaki makes his LA Dodgers debut for the final matchup of the 2-game series tonight in Tokyo. It's Justin Steele for Chicago. NBA, after watching Steph Curry commit 7 turnovers and miss 10 of his 14 three-point attempts in last night's loss to the Nuggets, Coach Steve Kerr says the team will have to consider potentially resting Steph tonight against Milwaukee in the second half of a back-to-back. Curry said he thinks the issue is more of the back strain he's been dealing with as opposed to being tired. Suns guard Bradley Beal out at least a week with a hamstring injury. Phoenix, a game back of Dallas for the last play-in spot in the Western Conference.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Everything you need is just a click away.
I screw up sometimes, sue me.
Okay, almost everything.
Come on, pal. Tell your fortune.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. 977ESPN, The Zone. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Hello and welcome in to the Blitz. John Abraham, Cam Cool alongside Joe Hunk here on a tipsy Tuesday in no man's land. Feels pretty tipsy for me because I'm about to fall asleep, Joe.
I don't know why you're about to fall asleep.
I didn't get good sleep last night, man.
Why not?
So I hopped on a few shows. All right.
Okay.
I hopped on a few shows, and I know we shouldn't be starting with this, but I think some people will probably be pretty interested in them. All right. I restarted Invincible on Amazon Prime. Do you know what that is, Joe?
Okay, when you say Invincible, the first thing I think of is Vince Papale.
No.
Okay, it's not that one. Okay.
No. So it would have probably made more sense if I said that and then the stream went blue and it had Invincible and yellow across it.
It's the Team U. It's the Team U superhero movie or show.
Kinda. I know what you're talking about there.
They're on Wish.
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah.
But it is a popular show right now.
No, it absolutely is. It's so popular that it was. I want to say that the is it Mega Man or whatever it is, the dad.
Yeah. It's Mega Man.
Yeah, is it Mega Man? Okay, how I guess that, I have no idea. Is a part of, like, they put him in MK1.
Yeah,
like
he's a pretty big guy. He
is a playable character in MK1. So I understand how big he is as far as the show is and everything like that. I tried watching it, but I couldn't do it. I mean, I just couldn't.
Come on. I mean, you got to know the cast. Do you know the cast for the show?
Well, yeah. I mean, I know who Mega Man is.
It's Omni-Man, by the way.
Okay. See,
Omni-Man.
There we go.
Omni-Man's BA. All right, he's cool. All right. But yeah, we got Mark Hamill in this show. We have Steven Yeun from Walking Dead. We go down the list a little bit. Rogen is in this. And you also have J.K. Simmons.
Yeah,
And
because J.K. Simmons is Omni-Man.
Is Mega Man.
Mega
yeah.
Man. What is his name?
It's definitely not Mega Man, Joe.
I don't know.
Come on now.
I told you. I
Come on.
watched it for I think I got through one episode, and I even remember talking to you about it. I was like, yeah, I can't. This one I can't do.
It's usually the extent of it. I actually watched it. Started watching it with my girlfriend, and I was just like waiting. I was like, does this happen in the first episode or not? And you know exactly what I'm talking about if you've watched the show. And we got to the end, and I was like, oh, the credits hit. And then it all started happening. And Omni-Man, of course, being the beast that he is.
Yes, Omni-Man. Come on.
It was funny because Mega Man's a totally different character.
Like I said, I don't know. It's Team U MCU. That's all I know.
It does feel like that at the beginning, and I will side with you on that one. But regardless of that, Joe, we do have sports to get into today. I was also watching other shows yesterday as well, but I'll tell you about that throughout this show. As we do have the first four, or the first four in is going to be starting today, and we're going to be talking a little bit more about these matchups because not 100% sure on why we would need to, because I feel like all of these teams might lose in the first round, but there is the sliver of a chance that we will get an upset victory, and that's also another interesting thing because we will be throwing out a few questions. What team, because I feel like always statistically, Joe, there's a team that's not a 1 or a 2 that makes it to the Final Four, and there might be a 5, like Auburn was a few years ago, or we might even get an 11, or like a San Diego State, So that's one thing I want to keep an eye on today as we go throughout this show, and of course, get into our conversation with Cody Goodwin from Bama 247 to talk a little bit more about Alabama and their slate that they have, because it seems very identical to last year, minus, a few pieces, but the first 2 rounds could be, I think, the exact same thing they had last season.
Well, and it's what I normally do is one thing that you do want to pay attention to is one of these 4 games that's going to happen, whether it is tonight's matchup between the 2 games that are happening tonight, which you'll be able to listen to over on Talk Radio, WZZN HD2, and then you'll be able to join in progress over here the moment that UAH and Nova is done with. Either never pay attention to the 16 seeds. Again, that's only happened one time in the entire history of the tournament since they went to 64 teams. So it would be like one of the 11 seeds, they're going to win their first game in the actual first round of the tournament.
Yeah.
So I always pay attention to something like that and figure out which one of these teams I'm going to pick as far as an upset is a line. And I know that everybody has their strategies with picking, what they're going to do. We're going to talk about that at some point in time, either today or tomorrow, as you start making out your bracket, because you need to go to 977ESPN.com. You need to go to one of our social media feeds, whether it's Facebook, X. They even threw it on Instagram.
Steve said that.
Yeah, we can throw it on there. It's not hard to do. We can throw it on there. But one of those places, you can hop in. We have got the link to the bracket.
Yes.
And you have an opportunity to get in on our bracket challenge, courtesy of Talent Heating and Air.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And it's $600 worth of winnings, as well as a prize for second and third. But Joe, I don't know if I'm able to even get into the Instagram, but we might need to.
Who has the Instagram passcode?
I don't know. I kind of got lost in the weeds. I know you do.
I use it. I use my Instagram so much to promote things that's going on with me in UAH. Like today, I have a lacrosse game. Like the moment the show wraps up here, I've got to book it over to Charger Park because men's lacrosse is taking on William Jewell, and that game starts at noon. I had to sit and think about it because a lot of times what we like to say with each sport is first pitch, tip off, puck drop. I guess face off would be the great way to say this when it comes to lacrosse.
I really don't know. Sticking.
Yeah.
Here comes the sticking to start off the game.
That sounds very weird. But I don't know exactly what you would say with lacrosse on that, because with women, they have a draw, whereas with men, they have a face off. With women, they throw the ball up in the air, and
that is true.
And that's how it goes. Whereas with men, they get it where
it's
the sticks are married together, and they have to be literally flush before they can actually start.
Put
So
it in the
things like
chat.
that.
Put it in the chat if
stuff
you
like
guys
that
know.
is. But we have lacrosse, or I have lacrosse coming up at noon, and then right after that, I'm going to be then leaving UAH and going straight to the Iceplex to get ready for tonight's Havoc Hour.
And I can't even be upset about that, Joe, because I have a heck of a time every single Havoc Hour. And make sure you guys come out as well. Zambrewski's is the place to be on Tuesdays. And you're able to meet the players as well as get rewards for the app and also get some money off on some brewskis at Zambrewski's. You can
That's
also get in on the show, 256-576-9077, as well as the Havoc Hour. Make sure you ask the questions over on our YouTube page. That is WZZNTV. I had a lot of people, a surprising amount of people ask me, he's like, where do we watch this thing? I was like, WZZN-TV. It's the place to be for not just the Havoc Hour, but all our shows as well, including Talking Ball with Drudy Arman and Sky Tyson. Blitz.
I love how you go into different voices as you do this. Like, I really, really do.
I'm actually working on a new one, Joe.
It's like you go through like 17 different voices just depending on what you're talking about.
We got
I just kind of sit here like this.
Yeah,
Like, go ahead, John. Go.
enjoy them. We also have the Tom Abraham Show without Tom Abraham.
Yeah, because Tom's but not look. There is no Tom Abraham today. I mean, there is a Tom Abraham. He's just not here. There is no Tom today. There is no Tom tomorrow. And then the tournament starts on Thursday and Friday, and then there's no Tom.
Do you think this week is more skewed than last week, Joe? Do you think it's screwed up? You think these next 2 weeks plus also the tournament starting is just going to totally throw everything off?
This week is a little bit more skewed just because last week we had the SEC basketball tournament. And so that always, our coverage with that started at 11:45 every single day.
Yeah.
It's where this is going to be, Tom is not going to be here for a couple of days. So we're going to have those two, the next two shows is heck, Moulton right now is texting me. He's at shoot around right now with UAH.
Yeah.
And they're doing shoot around, and then he's going to get back to the hotel because you and Steve are going to be doing the Tom Abraham show today.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow, it is going to be you and I doing the Tom Abraham show.
Yeah.
Then you've got to go film some movie. I'm borderline on it if it's adult or not.
You should come and join.
No, especially with the way that you said it yesterday. No, I'm pretty good. And so between that and then once the tournament starts on Thursday, we are only going to have an hour-long show on Thursday and Friday because coverage of the tournament will begin at 10 a.m.
Yeah. Is that going to continue into next week as well, I believe?
No, because once you get out of the first round or the first weekend, then it goes into the games happening just at night.
Yeah, you're right.
So all it is the first 4 days is when you're going to have games starting at 10 a.m.
Gotcha.
or 11 a.m. and going all the way until midnight.
Brandon, we are not including the first four into the bracket challenge, so you guys still have a little bit of time, but it'll go by quick.
Your bracket needs to be in and submitted and set before tip-off of the very first game at 11 a.m. on Thursday.
I think you got 48 hours, but if you're me, you're going to get on this bracket challenge and you're going to start clicking teams, and then you're going to take a break and not click on some teams. Think about it a little bit more, because I'll be honest, Louisville versus Creighton, it's kind of tough to pick.
Well, and that is the very first game of the tournament.
Oh, jeez.
So I was looking it up because I wanted to be a little bit more specific with this. Creighton and Louisville tip off at 11:15 on CBS on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
That is the first game of the tournament. That is the one that you will need to make sure that your bracket is in and set, and you pull your hands away from the wheel. I mean, not really, don't do that right now, but just all right, my bracket is in. I've already set it. Let's lose, because again, it's an 8-9 matchup.
Yeah.
So you're automatically, it's not like you've got like a 4-13 that you're dealing with, which that happens early on as well. It's not like it's one of those that you got to pay attention to in the very, very first game. But in that first round of basketball games where you're going to have like 4 screens going on at once, you have Louisville Creighton at 11:15. And then about 25 minutes later, you're going to have Purdue and High Point on True TV. I'm sorry, because you got to watch the dumb commercials on True TV. Then right at about 40 minutes after that, it's going to be Wisconsin and Montana on TNT. And then 30 minutes after that game, it'll be number 1 Houston and SIU Edwardsville.
Oh, yeah.
Those are going to be the 4 games that are going to be on at the exact same time.
Okay.
The very first day.
And you're going to be able to listen to all of those matchups on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, as well as over on Talk Radio WZZN. And yeah, Joe, I feel like since we are slowly but surely getting this thing kicked off, let's help the people out a little bit. Have you filled out your bracket yet, Joe?
No.
Okay.
I am not. I'll promise you, I am most likely will be sitting here on Thursday when the moment that we hand this over to Westwood One for the ESP or for the tournament, that's when I'll make my bracket out. I do it every single year. I always wait until the very, very last second because I do not want to analyze. I do not want to overanalyze. I do not want to sit and just be thinking about how I'm going to break down every single little game that is going to take place. Nope.
You should just auto-click it at that point, Joe.
No, because
that's no fun either.
No, because there are games that I'm going to look at that I've kind of paid attention to what people are saying throughout the week and be like, all right, I'm going to be mindful of that. I'm going to be mindful of this. Because then once you start getting into the second weekend, all the chaos normally only happens in the first weekend. Like through Thursday through Sunday, that's where majority of the quote unquote madness takes place. The moment that we get to the Sweet 16, you're going to have quote unquote upsets, but it's going to be like a 3 seed over a 2 seed, not like a 17, which isn't even in the tournament, beating a 1 seed, like something like that.
We could see some 6 seeds get ahead of 3 seeds, or possibly even 11 seed over 3 seeds. I mean, there is a chance for that. I am very high on VCU. I just want to let you know that. But I'll help the people out a little bit because I have worked on my schedule and in my bracket. And this is for the people who, right when they either get into work or if they're sitting down at home, listen to us on their smart devices and all of that jazz, they are right in front of their computers to where they can get this bracket filled out. I'll give you a game, all right? I'll give you a game right here before we take it to break and get into our next segment to where we talk a little bit about the Japanese-American baseball, whatever that was.
It's the only time I get to talk about Japanese baseball on this show.
That is very true.
It is.
I'm going to say Creighton's going to beat Louisville. I'm going to just throw that out there. And that's my expert pick. Right now, it is almost 50-50.
And look, that's going to play into what Auburn fans are paying attention to, because they got to pay attention tonight to see if they're going to play St. Francis or they're going to play Alabama State. It'd be kind of funny if it's Alabama State, 2 schools that are separated by like 40 miles, and then they have to go all the way to Lexington to play each other. That's kind of funny.
That would suck.
But that, and then Creighton-Louisville, the winner of Creighton-Louisville will face the winner of Auburn and whoever they're going to demolish.
Yeah, not a good draw for Auburn, I will say.
No, so if it is Creighton that beats Louisville, that benefits Auburn even more, because the whole thought is Louisville playing in Lexington in Rupp Arena. It's going to be a kind of a bigger deal, and that's what a lot of people are focusing on.
No doubt about it, but that is the Talent Heating and Air 2025 97.7 ESPN The Zone Bracket Challenge. To make it a little bit easier for you, just go on over to our X, to our Facebook, and or to our website at 977espn.com. Click on the tournament challenge, and you'll get taken right to the group where you can fill out your bracket, or at least hop in the group to where you'll be notified about all things March Madness.
Yes, and so pay attention to it as we've got the chat going right now on WZZN TV. A lot of people's already hopping in. Matthew and Brandon, we've mentioned a couple of their things. We got some more stuff that's kind of coming in.
I do want to talk a little bit about what Matthew said, though.
There is. I have a feeling I know which comment you're referring to.
All right.
I do have a feeling that I know which one you're referring to.
We'll be talking a little bit of baseball today as well.
Yeah, the opening day part 1 just wrapped up in Tokyo, Japan. Yes, I woke up and I was watching it at 5 a.m. I had that sucker on and I was good to go.
You know what? I should have done the same when I was up at 5 a.m., maybe even 4 o'clock a.m.
Yeah, you could look.
I could have watched Tipped Off. I could have watched the Pokemans doing the dances.
Oh my heavens! You said Tip Off and Pokemon. Sweet Jesus, help me out as we get going on this Tuesday. Phone lines wide open to you. 256-576-977 as this is the Blitz on ESPN Winchester, 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Atlanta Braves spring training is on from Florida, and this 2025 Brave squad is ready to get after it in Northport.
And he waylays this thing way downtown. Swung on a fly ball, deep left center field, heading towards the gap. That is down for a base hit. Acuna hits the bag at third. Here he comes, Michael Harris, taking no prisoners. It's a sweep.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beams likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Hey, do you have heating and air issues as the springtime starts to roll around? Hey, there's just one name you need to know. Talent Heating and Air. Number one heating and air business right here in the Tennessee Valley.
Yeah, we're locally based. If you call, you're going to get somebody based in Huntsville. Mentioned in spring earlier, we can actually do indoor air quality products, so we can help alleviate those allergy problems you're having in your house.
All right, Thomas from Talent Heating and Air, give them the number that when they call, somebody live and local will pick up.
That's 256-503-4490.
And you can always head to the World Wide Web and find Talent Heating and Air, and you guys will still respond.
That's talenthvac.com. If you don't want to talk to a person right away, you can fill out a form on there and get scheduled for a visit.
That's Talent Heating and Air. They're live, they're local. It's Talent Heating and Air.
AL certain number 21014.
The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Listen weekday afternoons starting at 5 on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It's perfect.
Oh, this is one of my songs. I see why you add. I didn't even know you could have songs from your own playlist on here. This is on my Spotify. I listen to this song all the time.
Yeah.
Lime Cordell.
I mean, I don't listen to this outside of here, but yeah, mainly I'm in more of a chill mood right now. Like I have different playlists for different vibes.
Understandable.
Like honestly, with UAH getting ready to play Nova, which Steve Moulton is sending us pictures from shoot around right now.
little jealous.
Yeah, no, it is. Trust me, this matchup is so incredibly huge. I mean, absolutely. It is going to be so much fun. They're doing a viewing party as well tonight. I'll let you know where that's at as well.
Okay.
That they're doing it on campus. This is Sweet 16. Like this is the Sweet 16. So depending on if UAH, the winner of UAH and Nova, will be heading to Evansville, Indiana next week to play the winner of UNC Pembroke and Lenore Ryan in the Elite Eight.
It's crazy because I've never heard of those teams, but I very much know of Nova. Joe, is there any chance that we can get out of the Havoc Hour just a little bit earlier so we can go over to Huntsville and watch this thing?
The Havoc Hour is happening at the exact same time the game's tipping off.
Yeah, but like we can make it over to UAH on time and party with the kids. All of that jazz. The teens, whatever they are. The young adults. Right now? Like, I don't know. I'm out of college.
we can go party with the kids over there, like all the youngins that's having a great time.
Once you get to my age, Joe, you're like what are they? The aliens from Invincible that come out in episode 2 and they just start shriveling up.
Sweet heavens.
After like
nobody.
30. Matthew knows exactly what I'm talking about.
No, Matthew absolutely does. No, the viewing party tonight is going to be at Blue Oak Barbecue. It's going to be a 6 p.m. tip-off. Then you're going to be able to enjoy some amazing barbecue there, and you're going to be able to watch this UAH Nova game for the right to go to the Elite Eight in Evansville, Indiana. Don't forget, this whole season is going down to this, not just because obviously the whole season's coming down to you lose and you're done.
Yeah.
But because UAH and Nova played each other first game of the regular season down in Montevallo, and Nova won 105-104 in overtime. And Nova also played in the national championship game last year. So this is a very there's no other way to describe this other than massive.
Yeah.
But this is going to be a huge matchup, and it's happening at Nova.
Yeah,
I could only imagine the way that it would be if this game was happening at Sprague.
It'd be wild. But you brought up Blue Oak, kind of got my mouth watering a little bit. I got to go pick up a desk. Either way, I was like, the first thing I thought of, Big Zone deals. I was like, I could get some Blue Oak. There's no Blue Oak right now.
No, because we're still working on getting Blue Oak on here.
Sold them out.
Yeah.
But we do have Corlejos, Carrabba's, Bubby's Diner. I mean, all of these other great options that you can go towards, as well as Metro Diner, which, golly, I'm just looking at those waffles and the chicken. Either way, head on over to Big Zone Deals if you guys want to save some money on some of the best food here in North Alabama. And on top of that, you can get in on the show, 256-576-97-7. Joe, I also did not say that the show was presented by the wonderful people over at Fleming, so that's what I'll do now. I'm trying to get all the particulars out of the way.
Like this, like you just let me know.
Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up at Roofing Fleming. No, let me scratch that. FlemingHSB.com for all of your roofing needs. Joe, I was doing a great job.
Do I need to order you a coffee?
Maybe.
Okay, because you're kind of out of it today.
Oh yeah,
and I feel you, because there's been a lot of days over the past few weeks that I've been out of it, so I get this.
I do want to talk about the Japanese baseball.
It's not Japanese baseball; it's American baseball. It's
in Japan.
It's Dodgers and Cubs
in the Tokyo Dome.
It is in the Tokyo Dome
with Pikachu's dancing before the game and this crazy Pokemon ceremony that leads into it, and also the two most popular players in the game altogether were Japanese, so it's just like, pick your poison.
There was actually technically more than that were there, but I don't know if he's going to pitch tomorrow.
But you said you woke up to this thing and you watched it, and it didn't hit the same as Japanese baseball. What are you talking about?
I was actually kind of let down. I really was, because this was Dodgers Cubs. It started, I want to say first pitch was seriously it may have been first pitch at 5 a.m. It may have even been 4 a.m. So I wake up at 5, I turn it on, it's on Fox, and I expected a Japanese baseball atmosphere.
Yeah, like the signs, the horns, all of that.
Yeah, I was genuinely wanting to see this game take place and to look like what it did a couple of days ago, because these two teams have scrimmaged or did exhibition games against two Japanese teams. They played the Yomiuri Giants, both teams did, and they both played the Hanshin Tigers.
Who won?
Yomiuri went 0-2.
Okay.
Hanshin went 2-0.
There you go, Joe. You chose the right team.
I did. And Teriyaki Sato had a home run against Blake Snell in their game as well. And right when he hits the home run, Joe Davis even goes, he's already talks about how he already has let the Tigers know that he wants to go up for bid to go and go to America.
There you go,
so,
Joe.
Dang it, I choose a player, and this guy may be coming to America. He's probably going to be a Dodger.
You're getting closer and closer to your favorite Japanese baseball players. I mean, they're coming to the States at least.
Yeah, no, it is. But in Hanshin, this was good on good. This wasn't like it was, the Dodgers sent over their AA team to play this. No, like these were all starters outside of Mookie Betts, because Betts he's got a weird illness going on. Like he's lost 15 pounds. Like he hasn't played in any of the exhibition games. He didn't play today. It is a really like strange thing that's going on with him. But so they've been over there for about a week. Mm-hmm. And during the games with the Giants and the Tigers, it was treated like a Japanese baseball game. And so if you miss this, like obviously these were happening on, is being shown on like Marquee Network, and it was being shown on like Sportsnet, whatever the Dodgers is. But when the Giants and the Tigers were batting, you had all the chants, you had all the cheers, you had the whatever those cones are that they hit on each other. Like you had everything. Like it was a Japanese baseball game.
The tubes,
yeah, the tubes that are hitting each other. They like
I
like
love
those things.
I got those at a Bassmaster championship a few years back.
And so, and even Joe Davis, and I bring up Joe Davis because he is the play-by-play guy for the Dodgers. He even says whenever the Dodgers are batting, and they're like, "It's so quiet in here." The respect that they have for it, and I was like, No. They're not saying anything because it's not their job to say anything. Like the way Japanese baseball happens is the home team does the cheers for the home team when they're batting.
Yep.
The visiting team does the cheers for the visiting team when they're batting. So when the home team's batting, it sounded like a Japanese baseball game. When the visiting team's batting, it didn't sound like anything because nobody were there was creating cheers or anything. So it wasn't their job to sound like this. Mm-hmm. So the games are happening, and when the Tigers and the Giants were on offense, that was Japanese baseball. It was perfect. You had your outfield cheering sections, you had everything. But then you get to the game today, and I turn it on, and I had to turn the sound up. I'm like, do they even have the sound going? It was quiet.
Why is that, Joe?
It was an Americanized baseball game in Japan.
Because there was no home team.
Because it wasn't their job. Yeah. Like, the Dodgers fans, if you're doing American baseball the way they do Japanese baseball, the Cubs fans were the ones that were supposed to have the cheers for the Cubs. The Dodgers fans were supposed to have the cheers for the Dodgers. Mm-hmm. That's how it's supposed to be. Even when Shohei came up, you heard a little bit because there were Fighters fans, which Fighters was the team that he played on in Japan. There were Fighters fans that was doing Shohei's cheer, but it was so slight because there's not a ton of them. If this was happening where the Fighters home game was and their home games are played at, then you would have had a ton of Fighters fans, and you would have had a ton of fans that was doing Shohei's cheer from when he came up to the plate. But it just sounded like an Americanized baseball game happening in Japan, and it wasn't the same atmosphere. It was like we took this game from Dodger Stadium and just played it in Tokyo. Like, I didn't want that. I wanted the atmosphere of a Japanese baseball game in the Tokyo Dome. Like, I wanted it to be like it is when the Giants are playing. Let's just say the Swallows. Like, I want it to be like that, not the way that it was today where you're just like, oh, okay, well, they're playing and everybody's sitting on their hands and everybody's all quiet. And I'm like, that's the difference between Japan and America. Like, the cheering section. There is no cheering section during this, and it was odd.
So could you compare it to the NFL when they go overseas at all? Because I know that those fans get rowdy, and that's because it's more of a soccer bunch.
Well, and especially when they go to Brazil and when they go to London, it is a little bit rowdier. Mm-hmm. but at the same time, it's not that rowdy. Like, I want to say that the thing for me that I noticed with whenever the teams are playing in London is that they allow the London crowd to kind of bring their own flavor to it.
Yeah,
you know,
scarves.
Yeah,
and,
you know, they have the
stuff
scarves,
like that.
they have the horns, they have the cheering, they have all that sort of stuff. Now, I don't do enough soccer to know a lot about the Premier League and cheers and all that sort of stuff. Like if it's for certain teams. or things.
HCFC, get this guy on.
Well, I mean, I've done soccer games, but I mean, like, as in Premier League
Yeah.
and studying them the way that I've studied Japanese baseball a lot over the last 6 months. And so I wanted to see that. This felt different than with the NFL, because with the NFL, you kind of saw that they welcomed the London culture and the British culture with the way that they treat soccer games and everything, where this really felt like 15,000 Japanese baseball fans were invited to an American baseball game.
But was it only 15,000 people in
I
this
don't
thing?
know. I just kind of guess however many the Tokyo Dome holds. I have no idea.
Its capacity, it can get up to 55,000.
Okay, well then
people, which is kind of crazy.
Then it was 55,000. I mean,
So it was sold out. Was it sold out though?
Oh, it was sold out.
No
it
doubt.
was absolutely
Okay.
sold out. So no, the capacity for baseball is 45,000. So I was just
Okay.
kind of guessing. So 45,000. Wow, it was off. It felt like an American game that 46,000 Japanese people were invited to. That's what it felt like. Like, it didn't feel like a Japanese game. And I think that's the part to me that throws me off, because London has embraced the NFL because NFL has allowed London to be London. Like, they have allowed the British culture in England to carry their culture and add it to the football game.
I mean, we got guys sipping tea in the crowd. I mean, that's how much it is.
It's totally.
Tea
I mean,
time.
they're over there, like, getting their Dr. Who.
What do you think halftime is, Joe?
I have no idea.
Tea time. Come on.
No, it's not tea time. It's not tea time. Thank you very much.
Good little
It's a
crumpet.
Beatles cover band. Thank you.
Jeez. Please
French
no.
invasion. So no, that's what with the way the NFL does is they have welcomed the British culture into it to be like, look, we are having this game here, but we are in your country. Let's embrace your culture with it.
Yeah.
Baseball did that this morning a little bit with the pregame ceremony that you talked about, which
Dude,
was
I love whenever they whip those Pikachus out, man. They're so chunky and they're big. Because they're human sized, which is not how big Pikachu is. And he was just waddling in their different respected jerseys. And then I noticed that there were a bunch of them just surrounding the diamond. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're going to take over. And then they just waddled off the stadium. I love when they fall. It's adorable.
Cool.
It's pure Japanese goodness.
That is a Japanese pregame show.
No
like
doubt.
that is how it is. Like their pregame shows before baseball games are just outlandish.
I mean, the first pitch was literally throwing out a Pokeball.
Yeah.
If that tells you anything.
Like and that is the Japanese culture.
Yeah.
But once the game started, it was an American baseball game. And I think that's the problem with this, is that you have so many people like Tom yesterday that was complaining about, this game's happening in Japan. Why do we want to have it happening in Japan? If we would have been allowed to see the Japanese culture with baseball in this game, and I think they have one more game tomorrow morning, but if we were allowed to see it, you see now the reason why baseball is so popular over there, because they will practice. Like you have baseball practice, they have cheer practice. Like they practice these chants and these cheers and everything else. And it's just the outfield. Like if you don't want to be a part of it, from basically foul pole to foul pole in the infield, all the way over, those are all just regular seats with fans just sitting down. Whereas from foul pole to foul pole in the outfield, those are the cheering sections.
Well, they usually have some help too by the girls on the dugout.
They do have
They're pretty much
cheerleaders.
Like they're cheerleaders.
Yeah. And so, and when you're watching those games, like that's how it is. Same thing. It's not just Japan. Same thing happens in Cuba. The biggest thing that Miami and the Marlins are screwing up with is not allowing more of the Cuban culture into their baseball games, because when they do, and they allow the drums and all the horns and all that other stuff, like make it a party. just FYI, I know that we like to be conceited and think that like, oh, what we do is the best. Every other country does baseball better than us. I'm just letting you know, whether it is Cuba, Korea, Japan, every other country that is a power in baseball does it better. We have Americanized this where because we call it the pastime, it's supposed to be a sport where we all just sit down and relax and chill.
But it's not golf. I mean, you want to have an experience, but what we have as baseball is it is straight up a spectator sport.
Right.
It's not an actual party in the stands as well when we see it in any other sport.
And so like with England and when the way that they embrace the NFL culture is, yeah, they have, it's a football game that's played like it's played the exact same way, but they have incorporated the cheers and the celebrations and all this other stuff into a game in London where you truly feel like you're getting a London experience. During this baseball game today, I didn't feel like I was getting the Japanese experience with baseball. And I think if baseball is going to be played out of this country, especially in a country that quite frankly watches even more baseball than what we do, again, hate to break it to you, it happens, then you should be able to see their culture because yes, you could argue that Major League Baseball is better than the MPB, but it is very close. There's a reason why Japan always wins like the WBC and they're winning the gold medal in the Olympics and all that sort of stuff. Give me the culture. Like I want the whole game to feel like it's happening in Japan. If we go to Cuba and we're playing this game, was it Havana? Is that what it is in Cuba? Is Havana in Cuba?
Yeah.
If we're playing it there, I want the entire game to feel like we're playing in Havana. I don't want it to feel like it's an American game that Cubans have been invited to watch.
I understand how that is. And maybe, we'll see it change a little bit. I feel like baseball is all about change at this time of its inception. But I mean, we saw the other day a little bit of a change come in the form of the Savannah Bananas selling out an NFL stadium. It was Raymond James. It's where the Buccaneers play. 65,000 seats full of baseball fanatics to watch a team play fake baseball. Kind of fake baseball. It's
real baseball.
Intense entertainment baseball against the monsters, whatever their names are.
And if this shows you anything about the game of baseball isn't broken.
No.
It's boring. That's what it is. It's boring.
But people like it boring, Joe.
No.
People like to sit down and enjoy a Saturday afternoon where the breeze is coming by. You hear the sound. You hear the dun, 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 dun. I mean, that right there, that's what I love baseball for. But there's also a little bit of a different scene with baseball that you have, discovered, and also the Savannah Bananas.
Well, and that's the thing. It's not just the Japanese baseball or Cuban baseball or Korea and all those places. Like, just look at the Savannah Bananas. It is still baseball.
Party animals. That's the name.
Yes, it's still baseball. Nothing changes. It's played on a field that has 90 feet in between each base. It's 60 feet 6 inches between home plate and the pitcher's mound.
But I mean, if you hit the ball foul and a fan catches it,
right?
That's what makes it fun.
You know why? Because they've made it more interactive.
Yeah.
Baseball, as far as interaction is concerned in America, we have held the interaction for the 2 minutes in between innings, where you have the contests on the field and you have all the take me out to the ball game and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, you can't forget the 7th inning stretch.
Yeah, our 5th inning stretch. We have that at Toyota the other night. Yeah, it was a 5th inning stretch because there's only a 7-inning ball game.
Gotcha.
And so, like, you have all those things where we've been conditioned to relax during play, and then in between innings is when we get to like have fun and all this other stuff. The Savannah Bananas is proving baseball fans are there and they want to be entertained at the exact same time. It's the way that we've been conditioned for Major League Baseball, and baseball in general is the reason why it's this way. Why do I say like Japan is more interactive? Because they have the cheers, they have all the celebrations, they have the songs for when they score runs and when they hit home runs and all this other stuff that they sing and chant and all of that. Like, if you're doing that, then you're going to be more invested in the game. Whereas with baseball, we've been conditioned, let's just sit back and watch.
Mm-hmm.
Where the Savannah Bananas have sold out Raymond James, They just sold out Bank of America or whatever it is in Charlotte. And these are football stadiums that are watching a baseball game, but the only thing that's different in it is they have made it entertaining. That's the problem. Do I want Major League Baseball to be like the Savannah Bananas? No. But you can see that there is that desire there to have a little bit of excitement and personality and interaction during the games. That's what happens. Like with Cuban baseball, the trumpets and the drums and all the other things that they incorporate into the games, those are all happening during the at-bats, during the innings. Like it's all part of it. You're sitting there, you're stepping into the plate, and you're hearing the drums go off through the whole thing. Like it's supposed to be a distraction, but it's also supposed to be something that's supposed to juvenize the entire crowd.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Savannah Bananas is proving baseball isn't dead. You just need to actually get more involved in it where it's a little bit more fun. And also then today, like I never really paid attention to the difference between Japanese baseball and American baseball.
Good that they mixed, so it kind of opened that up to you.
Yeah, because I've watched now over the last summer and winter, I've watched so many games in the Tokyo Dome involving the Giants that when you saw American baseball happening there, you were going, oh, okay.
This don't feel right.
No, it doesn't feel right at all. Look, it's the direct opposite with professional wrestling. Like if you go to a Japanese wrestling event like New Japan or something like that, they don't cheer. Like during the match, they don't jump up and down. They don't get excited. They don't do any of that. They literally sit there out of respect for what's happening in the ring. And then when the match is over, then it happens. Whereas in America, we saw it yesterday afternoon when John Cena came out, like literally the entire crowd is ready to just hop over the railing and just absolutely assault the man.
Just one punch each though.
Oh no, I mean, trust me, it was literally the entire place of I think it was Belgium, I believe is where they were.
John Cena.
Oh yeah, no, they got worse than that.
Cena,
there was a lot of F-bombs being thrown down to John Cena's way yesterday afternoon. And so it's different. Like the cultures are different. American wrestling, I think, is better than what Japanese wrestling is as far as the fan perspective is. Mm-hmm. But when you see a Japanese game happen in the Tokyo Dome and then turn around and watch American game play in Tokyo Dome, those are two totally different atmospheres. And tomorrow, the first pitch is at 5:10 a.m. and it's going to be on Fox Sports 1.
Excited to not see it, Joe.
Shut up. I am going to be all about this.
256-576. 97.7 is the number to hop in if you guys want to react to a little bit of Japanese versus American baseball conversation. Or you can hop in and talk a little bit of bracket basketball, all of that good stuff as we get closer to the second hour. We'll take a break. When we get back, close out the first, get into the second, and then talk with Cody Goodwin from Bama 247 about Alabama's draw, as well as their sweeping that they did this past weekend. A little bit of spring cleaning, if you know what I mean. Here on the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and ESPN Winchester.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. AI-powered betting models to help you make sharper picks during March Madness. Free 7-day trial available now at rhythm.com. That's RITHMM.com.
Jacksonville State visiting Georgia Tech in a first-round matchup of the NIT today. The Gamecocks are 5.5-point underdogs at the Ramblin' Wreck, 140.5 the total. Tomorrow in the NIT, UAB, a 5.5-point dog at St. Joe's, while North Alabama is a 4.5-point underdog at Bradley, 144.5 the total. Alabama State today meets St. Francis at the UD Arena in Dayton, Ohio in the first four of the NCAA tournament. Hornets are the 3.5-point favorite, 141.5 the total. The winner will meet the Auburn Tigers at a South Region first-round matchup Thursday in Lexington, Kentucky. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is you need a new roof, not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and I'm here to tell you it's truck month. No payments for 90 days on 24 and 25 models of F-150, Ranger, Maverick, Super Duty, and Lightning. We've got over 220 F-150s for you to choose from with generous finance rates and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 48 years in a row. Great deals on Bronco, Bronco Sport, Expedition, and Explorer 2. Come check those out. But right now at Woody Anderson Ford, you can drive a 2024 F-150 XLT Hybrid for as little as $339 a month. $339 for an F-150. That's a 36-month lease with 6448 due at signing, zero security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. This offer ends 3/31/25. Call us at 539-9441 for complete details. Over 220 F-150s and nearly 50 Rangers and Maverick pickups to choose from, all with great sales incentives and zero payments for 90 days. Woody Anderson Ford, we hope to see you soon. Hi folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
Can't get a ticket? Never miss a second of Huntsville Havoc Hockey.
Huntsville has a 2-on-9, and that is okay. Tic-tac-toe, and off we go to Pensacola.
With the Havoc Zone, only on 97.7 ESPN.com and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
You know, Joe, we were talking about it just for a split second. Did you watch the John Cena coming out on Raw last night?
Oh, absolutely. No, I watched. It did happen last night. It was actually because now they're on Netflix.
Yeah.
They go live whenever they go live in that country. So they want to say they're in Brussels last night. I think it went live at like 2:00.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was 2 p.m. whenever I believe Raw started, and it was magnificent. They did such an amazing job with him coming out. They got through the opening music, all that sort of stuff, because that actually used to be one of the Raw's opening songs. And they waited maybe 5 seconds. And then the very moment that his music hit, the entire arena just erupted.
Yeah.
And they also did a great job because the path that the wrestlers walked down, the walkway, it was actually smaller than what it normally is. And so Cena's walking down this walkway and all these fans are like just over the rails, just trying to hit him.
That was a good shot.
It was amazing. It
Yeah.
was everything that was done with that John Cena thing. I do feel the promo was a little forced. It was a little kind of
The towel was
well,
like,
I get what he was trying to say, but he also was like trying to talk to everybody like they were a kid.
yeah.
And it was kind of just, it was really, really off-putting. Cody's part in it was tremendous. But it was absolutely amazing for this whole heel thing. I love the fact that for a week or two, everybody's debated, are we going to get a new look? Is he going to be bald? Are we going to get a new song? Like what all we're doing. And he brought every bit of it up.
Yeah.
Because wrestling used to not do that. Like he used not use the phrases baby faces or heels or anything like that. He used that during the promo. He even started talking about how like, oh no, you don't get a new look Cena, or you don't get new music from Cena. That's my voice on that song. That is the one song that I made. That is mine. Like it's all this. Like it was good.
He's done it before in the past where he has broke the fourth wall. I mean, that's just kind of what it is when it comes to John Cena. He has been at the top of the WWE so many times that it's just like he can kind of do what he wants to. And I think that's why they're trying to wrap this whole thing up. I don't think he's going to continue to be the way that he is. I think whenever we do see him at WrestleMania, he's going to come out as good old John Cena.
Well,
I'm just saying.
There are things that are weird about it because he is supposed to be a heel, yet he made a shirt that was specific for Brussels, which is very babyface like. Like, I mean, I think you even kind of saw that a little bit with Brock Lesnar when he had the Suplex City, and every single city he went into was like the colors of the teams that was from there. So like you kind of saw that a little bit, but it was a little wild. Also, we were talking about the Tokyo series in the first game.
Yeah.
A seat in the upper deck. Would you like to guess how expensive it was?
In yen or in American currency?
In dollars, in American currency.
Okay. You know, it's tough. That's a tough one, Joe. Because I could throw out like $50. I could throw out $50 because I know the conversion rate from yen to American dollar, it's a little bit less. But instead, I'll say $400 just because of Shohei.
All right, so $400.
But also keep in mind 50 is what I first said.
Okay. Divide, let's see. Take your 400 and multiply it times 9.
What?
The cheapest seat in the upper deck of the Tokyo Dome was going for $3,500. That is more than a ticket to this year's Super Bowl.
Are you sure it wasn't 3,500 yen?
$3,500.
Man, needs some milk, bro. We'll be back in the second hour. Jeez.
Rocket City, for air that's cool and clean, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Get HVAC smart with Professor Green and the expert team at sensagreen.com. Now offering up to $1,500 off any system. Whatever it takes, Sensa Green has Huntsville covered. Remember, folks, with innovative, sensible green solutions, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
Hey, do you have heating and air issues as the springtime starts to roll around? Hey, there's just one name you need to know. Talent Heating and Air. #1 heating and air business right here in the Tennessee Valley.
Yeah, we're locally based. If you call, you're going to get somebody based in Huntsville. Mentioned in spring earlier, we can actually do indoor air quality products, so we can help alleviate those allergy problems you're having in your house.
All right, Thomas from Talent Heating and Air, give them the number that when they call, somebody live and local will pick up.
That's 256-503-4490.
And you can always head to the World Wide Web and find Talent Heating and Air, and you guys will still respond.
That's talenthvac.com. If you don't want to talk to a person right away, you can fill out a form on there and get scheduled for a visit.
That's Talent Heating and Air. They're live, they're local. It's Talent Heating and Air.
AL certain number 21014.
It is that time of year. Time to get your brackets ready to go. Steve Moulton here with 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And again, it's time to test out your basketball knowledge. We are your home for March Madness, but also brackets as well. Simply sign up, head over to our website, 977ESPN.com, or our social media sites at 977ESPN on Twitter
Facebook, or Instagram. But head over to our website, and a link will be there for you to join in, 977ESPN.com. Our winner will get an overnight stay at the Lodge at Gunnersville State Park, a foursome at Cherokee Ridge, and $100 worth of food. We'll also have prizes for second and third place as well. It's our Bracket Challenge 2025 style. And head over to our website, 977ESPN.com, and sign up today.
Hello, listeners. My name is Jonathan Dunwoody, and I own Minuteman Press. We are a full-service print shop that is locally owned and operated. I have personally been handling direct mail for over 17 years and have a great relationship with the USPS. We are the only print shop in the area that is listed as a print provider on their website and the only printing franchise that can use their logo as our partner on marketing materials. We can help from conception to design, print, and delivery to the post office. And with our easy, secure online payment option, you don't even need to leave your office. Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports, and it's brought to you by Everwood Treatment Company, the official treated lumber of Alabama athletics. Everwood, wood treated right. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. Here are thoughts from men's basketball head coach Nate Oates following Alabama's selection to the NCAA tournament on Sunday.
Yeah, so we're excited to be back in the NCAA tournament as a 2 seed. Obviously didn't play our best game last night, so we'll try to get the guys back going. We hadn't played our best game last year against Florida, though, in the SEC tournament, and bounced back, went on a 4-game winning streak to make a Final Four. So I've got confidence we can bounce back. We're hoping to get Grant back. He's going to see the knee specialist tomorrow morning and get a better idea of time frame on getting him back, but he is walking today, so just swollen, but, hopefully he'll be back by the first round. What do I know about Robert Morris? I played him when I was head coach at Buffalo. They had the same coach, Coach Toole. He's done a really good job there.
I'll have more in a moment.
Producing championship quality lumber is not an easy process, but at Everwood Preserving, it's our only process. Wood treated right. Everwood offers top-notch pressure-treated wood for decks, outdoor structures, commercial jobs, and more that you can build your reputation on. When it comes to quality, we're on the winning team. Visit your local Everwood dealer today and discover the difference for yourself. Everwood Preserving Incorporated, the official lumber of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Join us tonight for Crimson Tide baseball against South Alabama. First pitch from Sewell Thomas Stadium is scheduled for 6 p.m. Central, with our coverage on the network starting at 5:45 p.m. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Everwood. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. AI-powered betting models to help you make sharper picks during March Madness. Free 7-day trial available now at rhythm.com. That's RITHMM.com.
Jacksonville State visiting Georgia Tech in a first-round matchup of the NIT today. The Gamecocks are 5.5-point underdogs at the Ramblin' Wreck, 140.5 the total. Tomorrow in the NIT, UAB, a 5.5-point dog at St. Joe's, while North Alabama is a 4.5-point underdog at Bradley, 144.5 the total. Alabama State today meets St. Francis at the UD Arena in Dayton, Ohio, in the first 4 of the NCAA tournament. Hornets are the 3.5-point favorite, 141.5 the total. The winner will meet the Auburn Tigers at a South Region first-round matchup Thursday in Lexington, Kentucky. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Second hour, final hour, best hour on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WCCN TV. Joe Hunk, John Abraham. As we continue coming up in about 17 minutes from right now, we are going to be joined by Cody Goodwin of Bama 247 as he gets you ready for the Alabama Crimson Tides matchup that they are going to be having on a Friday when they take on Robert Morris, the 15 seed, and they're going to be doing that up in Cleveland, Ohio at the Rocket Arena.
What you know about Robert Morris, by the way?
I know he was a really good guy. He was a famous person. I want to say Bobby Morris was on the Declaration of Independence. Am I wrong? Is he one of the names that signed?
Bobby or
was Robert Morris a signee on the Declaration of Independence?
Let's see what it is.
I mean, there was a ton of people that actually signed the document. We all know John Hancock because he just wanted to take up half the paper. We're like, we understand that.
I just looked up Robert Morris. What he do?
What he do?
There's the Texas pastor, Robert Morris. Oh,
don't tell me like this man was like a slave.
I don't think this is the same guy. All right. I don't think this, but this pastor was indicted in what is the word? Indicted. Why is there a C in there, Joe? Why is there a C?
I don't know.
He's indicted for child sex crimes. That is the Texas pastor, Robert Morris. That is not who we're supposed to be talking about.
That is not the same Robert Morris. Okay. Before anybody starts to freak out and be like, what the heck? Dang it, Bobby. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, no, that happened recently, though.
Yeah, no, can guarantee you that Robert Morris was not a part of this. Okay,
I found it. No, I found it, Joe. Financier of the Revolution.
Yes.
Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He isn't as famous as his friend George Washington. Dude, he was friends with George Washington.
Dude, he was like the BFF. He was like the best friend of G-Dub. He was that guy that's always hanging around. It's like, yeah, you know who my boy is, right?
It's like, should I do this, good sir?
Thou boy is G-Dub. Okay. No, hey, ladies, he doesn't really have wooden teeth. Like, don't let him play you like that. Okay. Like, he's that guy. Jeez. May I get thy some more L? Like, he's that friend is what it was.
But he is a great wingman. Without Robert Morris, the American colonies' bold attempt to throw off British rule could never have succeeded. Okay.
He is one of only two people that signed the Declaration of Independence, the Articles of the Confederation, and the U.S. Constitution.
There you go.
Boom. So I was right.
You were right. You just threw. I don't know if that was a guess or if you just had it. When the Revolutionary War broke out in 1775, this is our analysis of Robert Morris, the team that is facing Alabama, by the way. This is all we can give you. The Congress asked Morris to use his shipping connections and financial acumen.
Oh, God. You could tell. And you thought I was bad with English. Like, I complain all the time about how bad I am with the English language.
What is acumen? To help amass the money and supplies to create an American army and navy. So that's what he did. And see, Joe, whenever I give it a voice, that's when I actually can read better. I learned that back in high school. I tried to throw it out the window going into this, and I used
yeah.
But yeah, that's what he did. He helped to finance the army and the navy.
So he's the reason that we get that amazing football game in December.
That is a part. That is literally what it comes down to.
Not about defending the country, not about going over into foreign lands and helping people in need. None of that stuff. He's the reason we get the Army Navy game.
I'm really hoping though that our boy Cody looked a little bit more into the actual basketball team, because that's who Alabama is actually playing, and definitely not that Dallas pasture.
Pasture, not pasture. It's not a land for cows.
Pastor.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I have this northern accent, Joe. I had to go to speech class for my R's. I used to say, can I have a cheese booger?
How do you have what is the word I'm looking for?
It's not a lisp.
No, it's not a lisp. How do you have an accent from a region of the country that you never truly lived in when you could talk?
The people I lived around, Joe. You could put
understand.
me in Germany after I was born in New York, and all of these different Germans are talking. I'd be talking like a German.
I will admit, when the wife and I went up to Boston for about a week,
Deutschland,
that I didn't start talking like I was Dutch. I did really start to kind of understand the Boston accent a little bit more. Same thing does kind of go with New York, because look, like when you go to New York, this is the way, like same thing for when you go to Boston or LA or any of these other places. You can't go to the touristy places because that's obviously like a melting pot. When you go to like the local establishments, that's when you get like the real language and everything. Yeah, it was a thing for that. So also wanted to throw this out there because you asked about yen with the Tokyo series.
Yeah. So
there was only in America, again, what do we say? Look, man, I'll just get something like on the street. I'll get like, I'll take a couple $100 with me and I'll be able to get it off of a scalper before I walk in.
See a guy going, I got two tickets.
Anybody? I need 2 tickets. I need 2 tickets. Anybody like that? Like you need that. Or you could go like on StubHub or those types of things to buy it. So for this Tokyo series, there was out of the 4,600 or 46,000 tickets that were sold to this game this morning, only 1% of those tickets were on resale markets. So that would mean 4,600 tickets were on resale markets. It was for $3,500 would get you into the stadium. $3,500 gets you into the stadium. You asked about what it is in yen. 525,000 yen is how much it costs to get into the stadium.
It seems like a lot more. That's the thing. And that's why I was thinking it was the opposite way. Like you were reading it and it was in yen, but it's actually supposed to be in American dollars.
$3,500. It cost more money to go to that baseball game this morning in Tokyo than it did to go watch round 2 of Chiefs and Eagles in the Super Bowl.
I'm just going to be honest with you, Joe. I find that hard to believe. We may need to do some fact checking before the show is out of here.
I'm just letting
I believe you. I believe you, but that is a lot of money.
So let me ask you. This is the question I have. Would you rather see a game like today happen where you're playing it in, say, Tokyo, Cuba, Mexico, wherever it is, and it be the Mexican version of your sport or the Japanese version of your sport? Or do you like it being the American way of the game in that country? Like, which one would you prefer? Because if I'm going to spend as much time as I can flying around the world to go and have to jump off 2 or 3 planes and make a couple of connections and all of this, like, I want the full experience. How many times do you ever go on vacation? And what do people always ask? Hey, man, I need a restaurant that just gives me that feel. Like I need that Dallas feel.
The
like
purple onion.
Yeah. Do you know what? Do you think of Birmingham? You think of that place now, don't you?
No, it is exactly what I think
absolutely.
about.
I devoured that.
Well, Pelham.
Yeah, you think of Pelham. Yeah, it was Pelham. We didn't go into Birmingham. We went to Pelham. Is where we went. Which one would you prefer? Would you prefer? Because again, like let's even look at the way that the MLS is. When you're talking about Huntsville and all that. Do you want the Americanized version of the sport, or would you like the version of that sport in that country? Well, because if I'm going to go to Mexico, I want the Hispanic of feel of the game, even if it is an NFL football game.
Big flags, people setting fires in the crowd. I love that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just riots. I
Shooting
want everything.
fireworks. It doesn't freaking matter. That's
Cuba.
What you can do.
I want every single player to be able to have to get to the stadium in that 55 Chevy, the only vehicle that's allowed on the Cuban island. Like that's what I want. Okay, I want this thing to be full Havana. That's what I want. If this game's happening in Cuba, that's the feel I want.
I'm trying to think of a sport that I would genuinely want. Obviously, you've opened my eyes up a little bit more to Japanese baseball. All right. So that would be a pretty cool vibe to have. But if Japanese baseball came to America, I would hope that Americans would do the teams justice by also being as lit as the Japanese crowds are. Regardless of that, though, I'd pay a pretty penny just to watch some professional Japanese baseball players play over here in America the same way that we saw plenty of Japanese buy tickets to watch, of course, American MLB players.
Like, say, for instance, if it was swapped and Japanese players came here to play, they would expect all of the noisemakers and the singing and the chants, like
the cheerleaders.
Yeah, and the cheerleaders. But like they have during a Japanese baseball game, they will have basically like with drum majors.
Mm-hmm.
They have like the version of drum majors that you have in college, like in certain points, like in front of every single section, and they're leading the cheers. Like they know the cheer, they are leading it, they are telling you loud, quiet, cut off, every bit of that. Like they are leading this whole thing in the outfield like it's an orchestra. Yeah. Like that's what they would expect if they came over here. They wouldn't expect everybody to, the moment the pitch is about to happen.
You just got a guy putting up a sign.
Exactly, like it's golf. Quiet, please.
Well, the
Please,
Dodgers ended up winning this game 4-1.
Yeah, 4-1. They had a really big inning. At one point in time, they were down 1-0, and then just the Cubs started looking like the Cleveland Indians from the movie Major League at one point in time. I mean, there was rookie that was getting his first start, had a bad, horrible throw over to first base. Like it was just that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the season's just now starting, so you're going to see those hiccups kind of, get in and get out.
And it was his first Major League Baseball game.
Exactly.
Like it's his first,
and it's in Japan.
And it's in Japan. So not only are you playing this, you're playing in a different country. And yes, it is. Everything is a little bit different.
No doubt about that. You know what else is different, Joe? The conversations that we have on this show, okay? 256-576-97.7. On top of that, this year's bracket challenge presented by Talent Heating and Air that you can get involved in. Head on over to our website or our social medias over on X and Facebook at 97.7 ESPN or 977ESPN.com, and you'll be able to join into the bracket up to $600 in winnings. Make sure you guys head on over, take advantage of that, as well as take advantage of our YouTube channel as well, WZZN TV. You can get to that on all of our socials as well. Subscribe to that bad boy, and always remember that this show is presented by the wonderful people at Fleming Roofing and Restoration. The guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online at FlemingHSV.com. to fill out your free quote today. Matthew already is saying that he's made 4 brackets. Is that even allowed? I think yes, it is.
Wow, Matt.
He's getting into it, and he's going hardcore with it. And you guys can as well. So don't miss out.
Chris is saying go Tar Heels.
I know. I do want to talk a little bit about that North Carolina versus San Diego State matchup. I'll be honest with you. I'm sorry, Chris. I'm going for the Aztecs. Come on, we're getting the Aztecs need to win this one and put the Tar Heels out for sure, because I don't even think they deserve to be in here. And if you disagree, 256-576-4977 is the number to get in.
Dang.
Joe, you know just as well as I do that this is not the same North Carolina team a lot of people know and love. All right? I'm just saying. I just don't see them moving past the first round, let alone the first 4.
Look, I think because so many people are hating on this team, that's the reason why I think they're going to win tonight.
Might give them an edge.
Like I seriously do. Like they basically feel like, look, nothing makes a team come together like basically the entire world being against you.
Mm-hmm.
And all we've heard about for the last 24 hours has been their athletic director was over the committee. He gets a bonus if UNC makes it into the tournament.
Already,
he gets another bonus. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm already pissed off. That makes me angry.
People have already found all the different parts of his contract that talk about how much money he makes by North Carolina making it to like the second weekend and the Final Four and all this. That now more and more people are starting to kind of go against North Carolina just because of that.
And I'm one of them.
And you are one of them. And that makes people, or that makes a team a lot of times it's like it's us against the world. Let's go. I mean, that's part of the reason why I do believe in UAH tonight, is because they're about to play in an arena where every single person outside of maybe 50
messed up
are against them.
That's totally
because this is happening on Nova's campus in their arena because they are the highest ranked team, and they are going to be hosting UAH for an opportunity to go to the Elite Eight in Evansville.
Well, I'll say it for Nova as well as for North Carolina. They can't keep getting away with this. San Diego State going to win by 4, which is also the line right now, the spread. For UNC, 4.5 and it's going to be on True TV, so you got to get through that as well. Either way, we'll take it to break. When we get back, more of the bracket talk, but following a little bit more of the Alabama draw, as well as
We'll
getting
quiz him about Robert Morris.
There you go. Oh yeah, I wonder how much he knows. He might know. We'll ask him like we're asking him about the team.
Looking up Robert Morris fun facts. Right
He'll think that we're talking about the team itself. We'll be talking about Robert Morris, the great man, not the pastor.
So is it true that Robert Morris financed their entire way through this tournament right now just to get to play Alabama in Cleveland? So you basically kind of call them the financiers of the NCAA tournament. Is that a true thought?
Well, I guess. In all reality, I think he actually helped with all of these colleges being a thing.
Do you think that Robert Morris do you think they're fans of the Beatles since they're from Liverpool? Do you think that? Do you believe that? What do you think? What do you think?
Cody Goodwin coming up next here on the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
Let's talk about the X's and O's of family entertainment. Every parent in Alabama knows the importance of being able to draw up an activity that'll get you out of the house for a couple of hours. But it needs to be affordable. It needs to be family friendly. Above all, it needs to be fun. Now, let's talk about high school sports. Bang for your buck, school sports provide the perfect game plan for your family. You'll enjoy all of the drama and excitement competitive sports offer. You'll be supporting the future leaders of our community in a meaningful way. Best of all, you can take the entire family without breaking the bank. Heck, you won't even dent it. Now, enough chalk talk. Let's get out there and see what's playing at the high school in your community. School sports. Good for our kids, good for our community. This message presented by the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Flying nonstop from Huntsville is a breeze on Breeze Airways. They're nice people flying nice people to nice places on really nice planes. Let's be direct. Nonstop from Huntsville to the places you want to go. Las Vegas, Orlando, or Tampa, starting at $49. It's time for a weekend getaway or a long overdue week away. Time to check in using the convenient Breeze app and check out. What are you waiting for? Book today at flybreeze.com. That's flybreeze.com. Breeze Airways. Seriously nice.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Listen to UAH Charger basketball all season long.
So when we came out of the timeout, Coach Hedge had initially called a man play, and they ended up faking a zone. So the whole bench was yelling zone, zone, zone. So we tried to switch the play last second. We ended up getting confused. So Tommy swung it to me, and I initially was like, all right, I'm going to try and get to the rim right here. We're only down 2. We don't need a 3. And he flipped his hips real hard, and I tossed it back, and as soon as I let it go, I knew it was in.
Campbell to plug it in. 81-79 Union. Inbounds it goes. Dribbling it out, and Tommy Murr swings it over to Campbell. Campbell on the wing for the lead. Oh, my God! Campbell! It's a 3! Into the front court for the win! No good! No good! No good! Blake Campbell with
some onions from Jackson, Tennessee.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
That's lightning in the bottle, set fire to water, coming out the nozzle on the fire hose, fire and swatter. Cinderella man, Cinderella man, Cinderella man, Cinderella man.
Make sure that you go to 977 ESPN and get registered and signed up for our 97.7 ESPN The Zone bracket, where you have an opportunity to win over $600 in prizes. And we appreciate Talent Heating and Air for sponsoring our bracket challenge this year. There's only one 97.7 ESPN The Zone bracket. So click on the link. You will see it. It will say 2025 99.77 ESPN The Zone bracket challenge. If it doesn't say that at the top of it, that is not ours. So now we are going. We've got people that are hopping in on the chat on WZZN TV. They're trying to get in on the bracket challenge. Your bracket has got to be filled out before that first game tips off at 11:15 on Thursday. Go ahead and just say 11 o'clock is the time that you just need to go ahead and just take your hands away from the computer.
I would just say 48 hours, almost exactly, until this thing opens up. So, yeah, if you don't get it in time, then that's a problem. Because I know a lot of people are focusing on a different basketball game, Joe. They're not focusing on the very beginning to March Madness. They're focusing on their teams. And for us, a lot of our listeners, because they've been listening to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, they're looking forward to that matchup against Robert Morris. And I know it's the first one. It's usually when the last few years we've seen it, Alabama's played these lower seeds and they've been able to take care of them. But there have been some struggles along the way. But hopefully that's not the case, and we'll get a little bit of reassurance from our next guest, which is Cody Goodwin from Bama 247, joining us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Cody, good to hear from you again, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. I'm getting ready to pack my bags, and you never know when it's this time of the year how long you should pack for, because if and I'm sure we'll get into this, if Alabama does take care of business, not sure that I'll be coming back to the South. I think I might get a direct to New York and head to Newark, but that's assuming that Alabama takes care of business in Cleveland first, which is probably what we're going to discuss today.
I won't lie. When you came on the line with us for a second, I thought you were calling us from in the air. Like it sounded like you were like on a prop plane somewhere. Like I thought I heard a propeller behind you.
No, I fly out first thing tomorrow morning to get to Cleveland. So I got one more day down south before I go face what should actually be kind of nice weather. I was a little worried being right there on the lake if it would be a little chilly, but it looks like it might be pretty okay and treat us all right while we're out there.
Well, hopefully the temperature is the least of your concerns. Cleveland, it's Cleveland. Yeah. Have you ever been to Cleveland, Cody?
I have been to Cleveland.
Nice.
I was there trying to remember the 2018 NCAA wrestling championships. So around the same time of the year, but we were in a gym basically all day, every day for 3 straight days. So I didn't have to worry about the weather that weekend.
Gotcha. Well, definitely, if you don't mind, get a picture of the Browns Stadium for me. And if you see anything about their new construction, that'd be great as well. But regardless, that's besides the point. Alabama, 2 seed going into the tournament, and they're facing off against Robert Morris. What do you know about one Robert Morris?
Robert Morris, I mean, this is a team that's routinely in the tournament, right? Like every few years. So Horizon League team. So they're pretty talented for a Horizon League team. If you guys trust Ken Palm's numbers, they got some guys that can do some things, man. Kobe Woods is actually an Alabama native. He's their leader in points and assists per game. They've got some size on the inside. They actually have a guy, Amarian Dickerson, who he's a guard, but he averages 2.5 blocks a game. So they're not afraid to give effort on the inside. They're not afraid to challenge bigger teams, I suppose, which, that could be a thing Alabama's got to keep an eye on. When they don't rebound well, talking Alabama now is usually when they're able to struggle against some teams, right? Looking at the Florida games, looking at, the Tennessee game, the first Auburn game, that game in Tuscaloosa. So this will be kind of a neat little challenge. I think it's a game Alabama should take care of business in, but I don't know that it's one that you can automatically assume that they're going to run this team off the floor. This Robert Morris team is pretty scrappy, and if you let them hang around, they could make things interesting.
No, we actually met the actual person, Robert Morris. And the breakdown was great, but we were just kind of curious about if you actually knew anything about the person.
It's funny. I love my history, but I did not actually prepare for that. So you got me. You got me. Thumbs up for you guys.
No. The only reason we did is because we started joking about it. I just made an outlandish claim. I was like, I'm going to assume he signed like the Declaration of Independence. I'm going to assume he was one of the signees.
He was right.
He was. Also, just letting you know, he was put in prison at one point in time. So just, if you ever want to do that, whenever somebody from Robert Morris is trying to try to talk trash with you at some point in time in Cleveland before this game gets tipped off, be like, your scale is named after a prisoner, something like that. It really kind of set him off.
Or televangelist.
Something tells me in the year of our Lord 2025 that they probably don't care too much about that. I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe there's great tradition at Robert Morris where they really love this guy, but who knows?
Well, plenty of great people have also been to prison, so it's not that big of a deal. But regardless, these teams, I think it's these Alabama's only played against Robert Morris one time in the past, and I think that was around the early 2010s. I mean, I feel like they don't match up unless it's either the beginning of the season, you're just trying to play an easy opponent, or it is going to be in this first round of the tournament. But I mean, from there on out, how do you feel about this draw that Alabama's gotten? Playing off possibly next matchup against Vanderbilt or St. Mary's if they get past the 15.
Yeah, man, draws are kind of funny because it's, I don't know if there's such a thing as a good draw in the NCAA tournament and especially when you get to that second round, right? Mm-hmm. Like you're talking the only 32 teams remaining, playing basketball in the country and all of them are good, right? Like if you get to the second round of the NCAA tournament, like you're a pretty good team, right? And then obviously as you go further into the tournament, everybody gets a little bit tougher. So I don't know if I believe in good draws, but I do think I believe in favorable draws. And I think this is a pretty favorable draw, at least for this first weekend for Alabama. They've got some things that they're going to need to take care of against Robert Morris to make sure that game doesn't get a little weird in the second half. And assuming you do that, you're either going to get a Vanderbilt team that you put 100 on earlier this season. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it's a mental thing, I don't know if it's a scheme thing, whatever the case may be, when Nate Oates and his Alabama teams are able to beat somebody, they are able to beat them, right? So if they were to face Vanderbilt, who's the 10 seed, I'm not sure I'd necessarily be super worried. Probably go ahead and maybe kind of get your credit card out and be ready to go to Newark. However, if they do play St. Mary's, who's the 7 seed, that one is kind of interesting to me, right? You look at that St. Mary's squad, the Gales, they love to slow things down. They love to play a little bit physical. They love to play in the half court. I don't know that that's a team where if they are playing their style of ball, Alabama could be in for a little bit of a rock fight, right? Like similar to what we saw with the Grand Canyon game last season in the second round, where Grand Canyon was able to slow some things down. They got Alabama out of their rhythm. It's one of those games where the first 4 to 8 minutes, right? Those kind of first 4 8-minute spurts, which team is going to be able to play their style of ball a little bit more. And if St. Mary's is able to slow things down, get in the half court and really not allow Alabama to get out and run, that's where that game could potentially get interesting, right? And I think, that's what comes top of mind because Alabama was, if the seeds were to have held last year, they were supposed to play St. Mary's in the second round, but Grand Canyon was able to get them. So Alabama ended up playing Grand Canyon, and it ended up being a similar style of game that we thought it was going to be against St. Mary's. So I guess you could argue that Alabama's got a little bit of experience having to deal with a team like that. But again, it's just kind of interesting. And when you get to the NCAA tournament, I do think matchups matter. So, it's a favorable path, but it's still, looking, if the seeds were to hold playing Robert Morris and then St. Mary's, they're going to have to take care of some things. I'm not sure that they're going to be able to just walk through Cleveland and get on the plane and go to Newark. Like there are some things that they're going to have to do to take care of business so that these games don't get a little weird later in the second half.
Yeah, nobody walks through Cleveland though. But no, I did get it mixed up last year. I picked St. Mary's to win against Grand Canyon. That didn't happen. We're going to have a question for you later on, but I don't want to get Joe off of his mindset right now. Joe, what do you got?
Well, no, I was curious because you were talking about the matchups and like, hey, St. Mary's could be a little bit different than comparing with Vanderbilt. But is there a team, say, all the way to Final Four national championship that you're just looking at and going, Alabama, I know would not match up with them well, and they could be a problem and get in the way of Alabama making it back to a Final Four, or even making it to the national championship?
I think the easy answer is Duke, right? Like the 1 seed in the East, the number 2 overall seed. And I know that there's kind of a cloud of unknown over the Cooper Flagg thing going on right now. He injured his ankle in the ACC tournament. And, I think that's worthy of discussion, because without Cooper Flagg, Duke is merely a great team. With Cooper Flagg, I think they are one of the absolute favorites to win the whole thing. But I think the thing to keep in mind, too, is that favorable draw to me means, okay, Alabama probably should get to the second weekend. And if they play a really good game, that first game in Newark, they should get to the Elite Eight, where you presume that they would see Duke. And whether Cooper Flagg is there or not, that is a team that is absolutely loaded. The reason I don't think they match up well, or Alabama doesn't match up well with them, is because I'm not sure that there are hardly any teams around the country that match up well with Duke. They're just really versatile. They're big. They're physical. They can do a lot of stuff. And then you've got a generational player like Cooper Flagg, where even if he's only at like 80, 85, 90%, like that is still probably one of the best players in the country that Alabama will have seen this year. And they're just so much to handle. It would be really, really tough. I think it could be a really fun game. But I just think that Duke team is they're a handful. It's a lot. It's going to take a lot to beat a team like that. And even then, you still might need to catch them on a bad day and play, 90 to 95% of your best game to get there, and maybe have a shot to beat them in the final 4 minutes. We'll see. Well, that is, we're talking 2 weeks and some change down the road before Alabama has to cross that bridge. But I think another thing to keep in mind, again, if they're able to get through Cleveland, whether it's BYU or Wisconsin, I think I would be really intrigued by a matchup in the Sweet 16 against one of those teams. BYU just seems like a team where they've done a really good job building up the program. They have an NBA-style head coach. They're bringing in, number 1 overall recruit A.J. DeBanza in next year. So, this is a team that has done really, really well just foundationally building up what they want to be. And then Wisconsin's a team that was kind of a nice, happy surprise out of the Big Ten, right? They're not kind of your traditional Big Ten team. They're able to get up and down the floor. They're able to score the ball. They play pretty tough defense. They were in the Big 12 championship game. They beat Michigan State, who I thought was a pretty good team, and they were able to do it with defense down the stretch too. So that would be an interesting matchup in the Sweet 16, whether it's BYU or Wisconsin. But, first and foremost, they got to get to Cleveland. They got to take care of business first before we really start digging into those matchups.
Cody Goodwin from Bama 247 is our guest, taking some time out of his busy schedule to join us as he's getting ready to head up to Cleveland, Ohio for, of course, the first round of the national tournament. Cody, there are 14 teams pending Texas versus Xavier from the SEC that are making it into the tournament. How many of those teams do you think is getting past the first weekend?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think if I were to look at the brackets that I picked, because I made my gut check pick yesterday. I think, if I had to guess, I think I probably only put 4 or 5 past the first weekend, because it's just, I don't know, man, this event is so volatile and crazy that you never know what's going to happen. And also, like, you have to take into account that, like, okay, let's look at Alabama's region alone. Vanderbilt and Alabama could hit in the second round, so only one of those teams will advance. And then the other SEC team in the region, Mississippi State, could see Duke in round 2, right? So are we, at best, you get one team out of, I think, that region. And, we'll see what Texas can do. I think do they play tonight or they play tomorrow? I haven't even checked the first.
They play tomorrow. Yeah, because North Carolina, North Carolina's in San Diego State's the 11 seed game tonight.
Yeah, so you just look at some of the draws that a lot of the SEC teams got, and A&M has maybe the scariest first round matchup. They've got Yale, and then the winner could get either UC San Diego, who's a pretty tough team, or Michigan, who is the Big Ten champ. So those are 2 tough games for A&M, and I know that that's a really tough team, but we'll see what happens. Some of these other ones, Oklahoma's got UConn. I'm not sure UConn. I know it's not last year's UConn, but I'm not sure that that's a team that I want to see. And the winner of that will probably get Florida in the second round. So, okay, at least one of those teams are going to get eliminated. Maybe the second toughest first round matchup for any SEC team, Missouri's got Drake. I don't want to see the D2 All-Stars, man. Like, that is a team with a big chip on its shoulder, and I don't know that I want anything to do with that team. They got a really hot young coach in Ben McCollum, who could be in some conversations for some other Power 4 jobs this upcoming offseason. So, that same region, right? Arkansas's got Kansas in the first round. Winner probably gets St. John. So it's just, I think it's tough to project maybe even more than, 3, 4, or 5 teams and to get to the second weekend. And even then, the 3, 4, or 5 teams that we expect to get to the second weekend are the teams we're probably expecting to get there, right? Auburn, Florida, Tennessee. I picked Alabama at least to get to Newark. So outside of that, it's kind of hard to see some of these other SEC teams potentially making a run. So great for the conference to show that depth. But in terms of making a deep run, it's probably going to be the teams that we expect.
Yeah, a lot of cannibalizing, I feel like, is going to be happening coming soon. And that already happened during the regular season. But it also led us to this point where we have 14 teams in the national tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, it's funny. I was looking at Alabama's schedule just today because I think there's a few similarities, I think, between last year and this year. Last year's team defense was obviously the problem, but, they started slow in non-con. They won 13 of 15 games in the SEC. At one point, they were in first place in the SEC, and then they stumbled 4 of 6, losing 4 of 6 games before making their Final Four run. This year's team, kind of similar, right? They were 21-3 at the beginning of February. Really, really good team in contention, like absolutely, maybe not solidified on the 1 line because they ended up dropping to the 2 seed, but they were in contention for a 1 seed in March Madness, and they've gone 4-5 down the stretch. But you look at the 9 games that they played, every single team was in the top 25, right? You got Florida twice, you had Auburn twice, you had to go on the road to Tennessee. The teams you got at home, Kentucky and Mississippi State, both top 25 teams, both teams that are currently in the dance. So, they went through this gauntlet. Now they're in the big dance. They get a little bit of a reprieve, right, with like Robert Morris and then potentially either Vanderbilt or St. Mary's. So there are some similarities there, and you just hope that Alabama has their head screwed on right on Friday at tip-off.
Cody Goodwin joined us right now from Bama 247. And before we get you out of here, I know that we're all going to be paying attention to Alabama's first game with Robert Morris. And everybody's automatically doing like what you said is, hey, if they get this matchup, you could be penciling them into the second and third round. What, though, if a Bama fan is watching this game, should they be looking for? And if that starts to happen as in negative way, Bama fans should start getting nervous. What part of their game do you need to focus on? Like, they cannot be bad at X.
Couple of things, man, that they can't turn the ball over, right? And I know that that's a little bit of a bugaboo with them this season. They seem to play so many possessions, and sometimes they play so fast that they're just a little bit careless with the ball. I would prefer that they not be careless with the ball, right? I think that their style of play sometimes lends itself to turning the ball over, and sometimes that happens. Sometimes I get it. Like, nobody is perfect when it comes to taking care of the basketball, but you'd like to see them take care of the basketball because that would then lead to more efficient offensive output, right? And I think that's really what people want to see. I think the other thing too is this Robert Morris team is not afraid to go down low and get physical. I'd like to see Alabama assert themselves a little bit more in terms of, going up and getting rebounds in the paint, getting those key offensive rebounds to extend offensive possessions so that they can ultimately result in buckets, whether it's at the rim or behind the 3-point line. It's going to be really interesting to see because it sounds like Grant Nelson, I guess, probably doubtful right now after his injury against Florida in the SEC tournament. We may not see him Friday. I think Nate Oates is maybe hopeful they get him Friday, but probably more realistic they would see him Sunday, assuming they take care of business on Friday. So without Grant Nelson, who's going to step up and be that other inside presence? Are we going to see, it's going to be Cliff, and could it be Mo Diabate? Could it be Jaron Stevenson? Could it be somebody else that's able to just step up and be a little bit more aggressive on the inside and really fight for those rebounds? So as long as they take care of the ball and they're able to take care of business on the boards, I think Alabama fans should be mostly pleased with if they're able to do that. I think they should be able to take care of business, put it that way.
No doubt about that, Cody. Great stuff from you as always, man. Wanted to talk a little bit more baseball, but obviously with March Madness, you can't really get that in. But it was a sweep against Texas A&M. How do you like that performance?
They look good, man. What was it? The final scores over Texas A&M 6-4, 6-2, 2-0. I think that's a really good way to start off SEC play against a team that I believe was, at least in one poll, maybe multiple, preseason number 1 ranked team. So nice way to start off SEC play. That they're 20-1 overall, top 20 in most every poll. I think Baseball America has them at number 10 overall. Had a funny loss to Presbyterian, I think, midweek last week. So being able to bounce back and sweep A&M, I really like to see that. And, I know people are going to be focused on hoops this upcoming weekend, but Alabama baseball, number 1 Tennessee. They got a 3-game set against the Vols, and I think that'll be a fun little barometer series, right? Where is this team really at? Is the offense as good as we think it is? Is the pitching staff as good as we think it is? So, I think there's still a lot of baseball left to be played this spring and summer, but if you would have told me that middle of March, Alabama would be 20-1, The offense would be cooking. The defense and pitching staff look like that they're going to be pretty competent and solid this season. I think that would have set up for what's going to be a pretty fun baseball season, and how they compete against Tennessee, I think, is going to tell us a lot about the character of this team.
No doubt, man. Last year, I remember they played this exact series, the first SEC series, and I was just like, why? Because everybody was focused on the basketball, and it was just one of those things.
And they took 2 of 3 too, if I remember correctly. Or they sweep them. No, they swept them last year, didn't they?
It was a close sweep, maybe. All I know is they won. Regardless, that's all that matters. But Cody, appreciate you as always, man. I hope you have very safe travels. Get a picture of Huntington Bank Field for me, just for the Cleveland Browns' sake, and let the people know where they can find you online and on socials.
Yeah, man, just on Twitter at Cody Goodwin. We're online at Bama247, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. And, if you guys would have called me tomorrow, I would be calling you from the air. But I'm sure the next time we talk, I will be in the midst of my travels. So looking forward to chatting with you guys a lot this month.
All right, bro.
Of course, man. Good stuff.
Awesome. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. Cody Goodwin, Bama247, place to find him in all of your Alabama sports. It's just he just does a wonderful job. I mean, he talks at the same pace as us, except for everything that comes out of his mouth is something that you can take into account with the bracket, with the baseball, with your stat sheets, with all of that good stuff. That's Cody Goodwin. It's just what he does. But we got to take it to a break. When we get back, Joe, North Carolina,
I love you.
San Diego State. Going down tonight.
For real.
And you're going to be able to listen to it on 97.7 ESPN The Zone before UAH versus Nova. I think it's going to be a weird schedule, and we'll clear it all out when we get back here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
I'm here with Vice President of Mortgage from Bank of Frank Ewing, John Kendall. And John, if you're hearing this commercial right now and you're thinking of getting a new house, boy, oh boy, do you guys have a deal.
We do. It's a grant. $25,000 if you're a veteran, $20,000 if you're not a veteran. This can be used for closing costs, down payment.
Very simple. All you have to do is give Bank of Frank Ewing a call at
256-507-9180.
And how long does this process take?
Oh, it'll take just a few minutes, maybe 15, 30 minutes on the phone. We'll send you a link and you fill that out in your own time. We'll approve you.
Who would not want $25,000 for a new house? John Kendall, give them the phone number and online address one more time.
256-507-9180 or at bankoffrankewing.com.
It's Bank of Frank Ewing giving you $25,000 for a new house. Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green is an FDIC insured bank as well as an equal housing lender.
NMLS number 446707.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Rocket City, for air that's cool and clean, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Get HVAC smart with Professor Green and the expert team at SensaGreen.com. Now offering up to $1,500 off any new Bryant system. Whatever it takes, Sensa Green has Huntsville covered. Remember, folks, with innovative, sensible green solutions, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio and have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
And now, a man who knows what you ate for breakfast.
Time now for the biggest thinker of them all.
He knows it all. He is Drew DeArmond. Listen to Drew and Scott Tyson weekday mornings. It's Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
But that never worked.
You'll find the answer.
I can't pronounce this. It is Kitaroshima Hokkaido, Japan.
Okay.
There's a gentleman that used to live over in Tokyo that listens to the Blitz.
Hiroshima?
No, it's not Hiroshima. That's
Hiroshima.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It may be Hiroshima.
Hiroshima.
But what I was telling John during the break is like, I understand that if Japan or anybody else were to come and play a game in America, that they would most likely choose to play it in LA at Dodger Stadium or in New York at Yankee Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
But it felt like only thing that Americans know about is the Tokyo Dome. And I understand it's centralized. There's a lot of ability for you to go there. But I showed John the stadium that Shohei Ohtani used to play in when he was a part of the Nippon Ham Fighters. That stadium is amazing looking.
Oh, it's pretty cool.
It looks like it seriously looks like a Viking ship.
Yeah, it's kind of a culmination. You said like Minnesota's, because that's kind of the vibe that it was going for in the first place,
yes.
The Vikings. But I also think if it's going to be close to any type of MLB stadium, I'd say the Texas Rangers would probably be close. That's the first vibe I got.
But it has more personality.
It does.
It does have more personality.
In its own way, it really does. And it's obviously not going to seat as many people as the Texas Rangers stadium's going to, but it still looks extremely unique. From the outside, it looks amazing. It looks really cool.
It seats 35,000 people.
Yeah. I'm wondering how
Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters.
Wondering how the roof extracts, does it shift like the Rangers?
I think what it does is because it basically has like what you would say like a traditional point at the top, like you would see like in a church or something,
or like
that.
Your kid's drawing of a house.
Exactly, like your traditional drawing of a house as a point. If I'm looking at it right, it actually shifts backwards, like from the infield or from the outfield to the infield. It shifts. It doesn't open up. The roof doesn't open up the top like that.
Okay.
But no, I was supposed to say is, I know that all we know of really is the Tokyo Dome, because that's where we always would play these games and things like that. But there's so many cool baseball stadiums. They're on the island of Japan that you could go and play these games there, and it would be a totally different look, a totally different vibe, a totally different feel to it. That would have been absolutely amazing for this.
Yeah,
I think that they should do this like what they do with the All-Star game, because the All-Star game is the best 2 out of 3, and they play it in different stadiums. So like the American League would have one home game, and then the National League would be the home team for the other. And then I don't know what happens in game 3, mainly because I haven't got there. But it was, like those are what you kind of see with all of this. And I just think it would be a lot cooler with that.
There you go.
Now, as far as what you're going to be listening to on 97.7 ESPN The Zone this week and today, it's going to be a little bit off the wall.
All over the place.
It is, because we will have the first 4. But you will not be able to hear it on 97.7 ESPN The Zone until after UAH and Nova wrap up from Fort Lauderdale.
But you can listen to it over on Talk Radio WZZN just by downloading the app or going to the site. It's very easy to find, and just listen to it over there if you want to before, of course, it transitions over to 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Also, we do not know the Havoc Hour guests just yet. It usually happens 5 hours probably.
Well, it happens. It happens normally. They get everything together with that after morning skate.
Yeah.
So that's where we're going to find out a lot of that. What we do know though is that unless you have a ticket for these 2 games that are happening on Friday and Saturday night, you are not going to be able to get into the VBC arena, because they have already announced that these 2 games with Peoria happening on Friday and Saturday night, which you'll be able to hear over on the Havoc Zone for those games with puck drop at 7:15, are sold out. So there are 3 home games remaining in the regular season that will happen next week. And those are your last 3 opportunities to get into the VBC.
Crazy.
For one of these Havoc games.
Joe, we made it through the show. You talked a lot of baseball. We talked a lot of racket, a little bit of Robert Morris history, as well as with Cody Goodwin.
He also started the first Bank of America.
Did he really?
It was like the first North American bank.
Okay, well, we're not getting mixed up with the televangelist, because he's probably going to be behind bars soon enough. Look into that if you want.
Actually.
Now, Joe, since you got to talk all your Japanese kind of baseball, I get to talk NASCAR for the entire show on Wednesday. It's going to be pretty good, at least the first hour, Joe, because we have a Tennessee-related driver actually won the race in Las Vegas. It'll be a pretty cool story. Either way, for me and Joe, we'll see you guys next time. Tom Abraham with Steve Mullen coming up
to Charger Park
next. Tip.
What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor at Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Steve Moulton from 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and this is What's Happening.